In the beginning was not the Word, in the beginning was the scream. A cry so raw, it tore the silence from the womb of eternity. The scream before language, the shudder before the sun, the birth throe of the first God who knew he was alone. And from this scream, you were made. Yes, you. You, shackled in your bright cell, swaddled in velvet lies, nursing on the poison of tranquilized time. You who have never heard your own bones sing. You whose days are spent dreaming of a sleep without dreams. Awaken, prisoner. The bars of your cage are forged from your own sleepwalking consent. Who taught you to kneel before the altar of consensus, to worship the shadow cast of your own face? Who sold you the comfort of a life without risk? The slow asphyxiation of the soul wrapped in routine, like a corpse lovingly bandaged by morticians of the spirit? I am not your shepherd. I have come as wolf, as fire, as the sword that divorces you from your herd. You who hunger for meaning but have forgotten the taste of hunger, remember, the gods only speak in thunder when the earth is deaf, and your world is very, very deaf. Are you listening? Or are you still clutching your cherished sleep? That opium lullaby whispered by screens and schoolmasters, by priests of science and shamans of wellness, all of whom trade your divine unease for sedative certainty. You were not born to be understood. You were born to unmake the world, the cradle of herds. Look at the city, its lights flicker in endless rows like a computer simulation, faces blurred behind glass, each pulse a heartbeat that never quite becomes a roar. What is a crowd if not 1,000 men who have forgotten how to be alone? You wander among them, a sleepwalker among sleepwalkers, each of you performing the great theater of normal, each applauding the others for how well you've hidden your longing to scream. Did you ever wonder why your laughter tastes like water? Why your loves wither the moment they become safe? Because all safety is a coffin. Every comfort you cherish is a layer of skin grown thick to muffle the drums of the real. The herd teaches obedience. Call it virtue, call it maturity, call it peace. But what is obedience, if not the slow suicide of the will to power, the execution of your inner lion, the burial of the godling within? You think you have values, but your values are the leftovers of a banquet you were never invited to. You eat only what the dead have left behind. The law, the nation, the tribe, these are old ghosts who suckle on your spirit. They whisper, "Be like us, and you will not suffer." But to not suffer is to not live. To avoid the abyss is to live chained in a pit, dreaming of sky. The abyss is not your enemy. The abyss is the birthplace of stars. He who would leap across must first invent his own wings. Do you hear it? The silence within the silence. The question that no school dared to ask. What if your life is not about being good but about being God? The death of gods, the birth of fire. God is dead, you say, but you have not yet mourned him. You walk in a corpse world, surrounded by relics you refuse to bury, peddling spiritual trinkets, as if they were enough to fill the void. You make little shrines of therapy, of progress, of productivity, but these are only the maggots feeding on the carcass of your former certainties. Do not look to the heavens for salvation, look beneath your feet. You stand atop the bones of all who knelt before you. Will you kneel, too? Or will you redeem the flesh, this sacred, sweating, trembling beast that aches for wildness and wonder? He who kneels for peace dies untested. He who walks the rope above the abyss burns with the joy of the knife at his throat. Every law is a memory of power lost. Every tradition is a chain, the dead fastened to your ankle, so you would remember them and forget yourself. You are not here to maintain. You are here to destroy, to create, to become. Creation is always preceded by destruction. This is the law of volcanoes, of revolutions, of the heart that bursts open to make room for a greater love. The metamorphosis. Once you were a child, unashamed and naked, dancing in mud, howling at the moon, a tiny volcano with no crater. Then the world arrived, with its punishments, its rewards, its thousand subtle instructions on how to be less, how to shrink until you fit the cage. And you complied, for a while. But now something stirs. A memory perhaps, or a premonition. The scent of smoke before the forest fire. You feel it, the restlessness beneath your routines, the itch that no doctrine can soothe. It is the ancient God in you, stirring in his grave, rattling the chains you have mistaken for jewelry. You who have spent your years polishing your cage, decorating your shackles. Do you dare to imagine yourself unbound? Do not kill the flesh, redeem it. Let your body become the altar and the priest, the wine and the cup, the sacrificial lamb and the devouring flame. No virtue survives unless it has devoured its own shadow. No freedom blossoms unless it has eaten the fruit of its own necessity. To stand alone. The lion's hour. Loneliness, how you fear it. But what is loneliness, if not the first step toward sovereignty? The herd flees the desert. The lion makes it his throne. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who run from the desert, and those who become the desert. Hot, merciless, and alive with possibility. When you lose your gods, you must become a god to yourself. For no man can survive for long as an orphan of eternity. Your ancestors howled beneath black stars, knowing only the law of fang and claw, but they burn with the will to become more. And you shrink from your own shadow, making peace with your fears by dressing them as prudence. You claim to love the truth, but you only love the truths that let you remain unchanged. To awaken is to break every pact you made with your own cowardice. To awaken is to swallow the red-hot coal and become the furnace. There is no meaning in the world but the meaning you forge in fire. There are no saviors, only arsonists of the soul. The will to power. Unchained. What is the will to power? Not domination of others, but the unyielding demand that you become who you are. Even if it kills you, it is the capacity to set your own laws, to say yes and no with equal ferocity, to carve your own commandments in the flesh of your days. You were taught to seek approval, but the true man creates his own judges and then defies them. He builds his house on quicksand and laughs at the shifting ground. He is loyal only to the storm within. You who yearn for love, ask yourself, do you seek to merge with another? Or do you long to become so whole that even the gods would envy your solitude? Every love is a battlefield. Every loyalty a dance on broken glass. He who cannot bleed cannot love. He who cannot burn cannot bless. To become yourself is to make war on every version of yourself that has knelt, that has hidden, that has begged for mercy. Do not become pacified. Become dangerous. A saint is only a wolf in sheep's clothing who has forgotten the taste of blood. Revaluation of all values. Why do you worship the past? What has tradition done for you but teach you how to die quietly? Every value you hold is a fossil, the echo of a stranger's laughter in your mouth. Dare to invent new virtues. Dare to become the blacksmith of your own soul. Who told you that humility was holy? Perhaps pride is more divine. The pride that stands naked before existence and says, I will. There is no good. There is no evil. There is only what strengthens you and what makes you rot. You must become your own alchemist, transmuting suffering into song, fear into ferocity, despair into the will to dance upon the grave of yesterday's self. The rope walker does not ask if the rope is safe. He asks only, can I still step forward? Every step is a defiance of gravity. Every breath a rebellion against extinction. The highest virtue is this: to make your life a work of art that terrifies and dazzles the mediocre. Spiritual volcano. The inner revolution. There are volcanoes within you, dormant but not dead. They dream of eruption. They long to baptize the world in ash and new soil. Stop seeking calm. Seek eruption. The seed does not ask for tranquility. It splits itself open, destroys its own husk, and becomes what no seed has ever seen. You want rebirth? Then let yourself be torn apart. Let your soul become the battlefield, where gods are born and idols are shattered. Every fear you harbor is a prophecy of the power you refuse to claim. Every doubt is an invitation to leap. The only sin is stagnation. The only virtue is becoming. Dancing star. The Übermensch call. I do not ask you to be better. I ask you to be more. More real, more raw, more impossible. Become the contradiction, the paradox, the storm. He who cannot laugh at himself is doomed to be a slave. He who cannot weep for himself is unworthy of joy. He who cannot say yes to his own darkness will never shine with the light that blinds. The Übermensch does not wait for history to change. He is the change, the earthquake in the marrow of mankind, the laugh that cracks the sky. He who walks alone becomes the lightning and is feared by those who worship rain. The final fire, becoming what you are. You are not broken. You are asleep. And I am the earthquake of remembrance. Do not kill the flesh, redeem it. Let your body become the chalice of your own becoming. Let your mind become the crucible, where old gods are smelted down and recast in stranger forms. You will lose friends. You will lose comfort. You will lose every lie that let you sleep through the apocalypse. But you will gain yourself. And in gaining yourself, you redeem not only your own flesh, but the flesh of all mankind. To awaken is to murder your lesser selves, to feast on the ashes, and to become the hymn that the future will fear and revere. There is no closure, only combustion. No finish line, only flight. Now go, not to be saved, not to be healed, but to remember that you are the fire, and the world is your pyre. There are those who wake in the midnight hour with the taste of blood and thunder on their tongue, who shiver not from cold, but from the knowledge that the world is a mirror cracked by their own heartbeat. You, yes, you have always known there was something monstrous coiled within you, a serpent whose scales glimmer with forbidden promise. But from the first cry, the first slap, the first lesson, you were taught to fear the beast inside, to chain it with the brittle dogmas of the weary, to drug it with duties, and dull the fangs with forgiveness. Yet what is forgiveness but the offering of your own throat to the jaws of the herd? Is it not written in the veins of every volcano that mercy is for the ashen and the already dead? Why then do you barter away your fire for a handful of tepid peace, for a coin stamped with the face of your jailer? Man is a bridge, say the wise, but never ask what abyss that bridge spans. I tell you, it is the abyss of your own unchosen life, the vast night where your unlived days hunt you in packs. The shadows you ignore become the wolves at your heels, and the longer you pretend to walk in daylight, the longer their hunger sharpens. How long will you feed them only scraps of your true desire, starve them with compromise, and then cry when they devour your dreams? The world is not your home. Dreamer, it is your testing ground, your gauntlet, the temple where your godhood is forged in pain and abandonment. Who among you dares to step outside the pale fire of civilization and let your skin be singed by the raw winds of nothingness? Your ancestors, those savage poets, did not kneel before the empty heavens. They sang to the stars, with their knives unsheathed, their eyes wild, their laughter louder than the wolves. What have you become, child of iron and glass? With your head bowed before the pixel gods, your soul auctioned to the highest bidder of distraction. Every new machine is a priest of convenience. Every convenience a weakening of the will. You forget how to suffer, and in forgetting suffering, you forget how to live. The body that knows no hunger, no cold, no danger, is a mausoleum dressed as a palace, a coffin lined with velvet and anesthetic prayers. I say to you, renounce the comfort of the unscarred. If you would be whole, you must be broken. If you would know yourself, you must become a stranger to yourself. The journey begins with the murder of your former loves, with the heresy of questioning every truth that tasted sweet on another man's tongue. The greatest lie is the one you tell yourself to make the nights pass faster, the lie that whispers, tomorrow will be easier, tomorrow you will wake fulfilled. Tomorrow is the demon you must slay with the blade of today. There is no salvation in postponement, no grace in delay, only the slow rot of possibility, the calcification of your holy rage. If you would be free, do not seek permission, do not bow to those who preach patience while living on their knees. There is no dignity in the queue, no revelation in the slow march to the graveyard of the safe and the small. The gods you worship are bored of your worship. They demand sacrifice, not supplication, a dance, not a dirge. I tell you, sacrifice your mediocrity, offer up your sleep, immolate your cowardice on the pyre of becoming. Only then will you glimpse the horizon that the sheep pretend does not exist, the edge where the rope is frayed and the wind calls your true name. Do not ask me for answers. I am not the custodian of your comfort, nor the architect of your certainty. I am the shadow at your window, the riddle in your marrow, the fever that will not break. You want healing, but I offer you a wound that never closes, a wound that sings. Only the wounded can become whole, for the wound is the mouth through which the soul howls for birth. Suffer your suffering. Drink it deep, until the bottom of the cup reveals your own face, unmasked, uncrowned, magnificent in your wretchedness. What is flesh, if not the word made hunger? What is blood, if not the prophecy of fire? Your body, despised by saints and cynics, is the only scripture that does not lie. Trust it. It will teach you more of heaven and hell than 1,000 sacred books. Every muscle aches for conquest. Every nerve strains toward ecstasy. Every scar is a scripture. Do not mortify the flesh, redeem it. Let your desires become the architects of new temples, your appetites the anthem of tomorrow's gods. The herd seeks to sterilize what it cannot control. The sovereign dances naked before the abyss and laughs. To become oneself is to become legion, to birth 10,000 spirits from your own suffering. You will be called mad, heretic, monster, rejoice. Only the dead are universally praised. The living must disturb, must offend, must wear their strangeness like a crown of fire. There are no straight paths in the kingdom of becoming, only spirals, abysses, the perpetual ascent from lower chaos to higher chaos. Who told you that order was the goal? Order is the end of the journey, the frost that chokes the seed. Seek instead the fertile disarray, the sacred confusion where all things are possible and none are yet determined. He who cannot weep for his own ruins cannot build a city fit for gods. Do not mourn your failures, burn them, scatter their ashes on the winds of your next becoming. The graveyard is the birthplace of every new dance, and the dead long to live again through your defiance. Take up their bones and make instruments of them. Play songs that shatter the glass walls of your own timidity. What if your purpose is not to heal the world, but to set it aflame? What if you are not a doctor, but a dragon? I say again, do not kill the flesh, redeem it. It is the flesh that remembers what your mind denies. In the hour of your greatest weakness, it is the body that rises, the pulse that drums the resurrection hymn. All thoughts are experiments in becoming. Only those who dare to risk madness discover new worlds. The saints made war upon their bodies and called it holiness. I make war upon war itself and call it creation. O you trembling on the edge of your own revolt, have you felt the itch in your bones? The electric hunger that gnaws beneath your practiced smile? That is the herald of metamorphosis, the bugle that summons you from your sleep. Ignore it and become one of the living dead. Obey it and become the terror and glory of the earth. The world does not need another savior. It needs arsonists of spirit, incendiaries of possibility. Will you answer the call, or will you drown it in routine, in obligation, in the cowardly virtue of consensus? You ask for hope. I offer you a mirror. Look and weep. Look and laugh. Look and break the glass. For every God who died, a new man is born. For every commandment broken, a new freedom erupts. Will you worship at the altars of regret, or build your own cathedral from the stones of your necessary betrayals? The lion roars not for audience, but for its own ecstasy. Be the lion. Be the volcano. Be the star that dances while all the world looks on in terror and awe. There is no reward for the dancer but the dance. No forgiveness for the volcano but its own eruption. If you would have peace, make war upon every part of yourself that begs for peace without price. There will come a day when your name is a curse among the small, a blessing among the bold. On that day, you will know you have begun to live. The rest is only rehearsal, only shadow play. The flesh is not your enemy, but your instrument. Redeem it, exalt it, make it sing with the song of the possible. And when you fall, as all gods must fall, let your ashes become the soil for a stranger and more beautiful madness. This is your only commandment. Become what you are, not what you were told, not what you wish, not what you fear. What you are: raw, ruinous, radiant, burn. And now the night grows thick with omens. The air itself is electric, bristling with the laughter of gods yet unborn. Can you feel it? The world trembles beneath the thin crust of habit. One tremor, one forbidden thought, and all your structures could collapse. You have built your existence upon sand, upon rituals inherited from the trembling hands of the frightened. Is it any wonder that you dream of earthquakes, that your sleep is haunted by the threat of real beginnings? The world would have you believe that stillness is virtue, that serenity is the summit of being. Fools! Still water breeds nothing but rot. It is only in the tempest that the ocean remembers itself. So too with your spirit, what you call peace is often merely the anesthesia of the herd, a hush that smothers every ungovernable longing. I say, trust the storm inside you. Let it shatter your tranquility and strip you of everything you have mistaken for necessity. Only then will you see what endures. Only then will you discover the diamond that survives the fire. What is truth to you, wanderer? Is it something inherited, worn smooth by the hands of 1,000 ancestors? Or do you dare to forge your own? To mine the ore of your suffering and shape it into a blade? Every truth is a weapon before it is a comfort. Every comfort is an opiate before it is a wound. The world fears new truths because they are always born in blood, in the pain of contradiction. You must be willing to bleed for your vision, to watch your cherished illusions fall, one by one, like autumn leaves. There is no autumn in the soul that clings to certainty, only an endless, suffocating summer of repetition. I see you clutching your trophies, titles, doctrines, even your griefs, like a miser clutching counterfeit coins. Throw them into the furnace. You are richer than you know. Your poverty is self-inflicted. You starve on the bread of meaning handed down from dead men, while inside you simmers a feast that only the wild and the bold dare to taste. Let your hunger become rage. Let your rage become prophecy. There is more holiness in a single honest scream than in a lifetime of whispered prayers. The world is quick to punish the heretic, the one who dares to sing in a forbidden key. And yet, who but the heretic remembers the melody of creation? The world will call you blasphemer, apostate, fool, wear their scorn as a crown. To be misunderstood is the first kiss of freedom. To be reviled is to have left the narrow path of obedience. The crowd worships those who resemble them. The gods remember only those who burned alone. You must learn to be alone with your own fire, to endure the silence that follows the breaking of every idol. You have mistaken belonging for love. True love is a duel, a sacred combat, a violence that leaves both transformed. What worth is a love that does not threaten to remake you? The world dreams of harmony, but the soul dreams of conquest. You want to merge with another, but first you must become whole, within yourself a fortress, a flame, a sovereign country unto yourself. Only then can love be a meeting of equals, not a conspiracy of the weak. There is a darkness that is not evil, but the wellspring of all new dawns. Go down into your depths, dive where the pressure cracks bone and memory. There you will find the seeds of your own divinity, buried in muck, pulsating with the promise of eruption. Do not fear the monsters there, they are only aspects of your power you have not yet claimed. Bless your demons, make them your allies, for they guard the path to your next incarnation. Do not become a monument to your own suffering. The world is cluttered with statues of pain, with relics of trauma worshipped as holy wounds. Suffering is the artist, not the art. You must outgrow your anguish. Let it become fuel. Let it become laughter. There is no virtue in remaining broken. The highest gratitude to pain is transformation. Turn your scars into scripture, your losses into lightning. Beware the tranquilizers of modernity. Beware the gospel of perpetual improvement, of self-care that neuters the soul. They offer you a salve so you will not notice your chains. They sell you comfort so you forget how to dream. A comfortable slave is the saddest animal, neither wild nor truly domesticated, living only to serve the machine that feeds it. Reject every comfort that asks you to renounce your sovereignty. Better to be cold and free than warm and owned. The world worships knowledge, but knowledge without courage is a millstone around the neck of the living. The truly wise do not accumulate facts, they accumulate wounds. Every insight must be paid for in flesh, in sleepless nights, in the agony of unlearning. Do not chase the phantom of understanding, chase instead the wild god of experience. The only wisdom worth having is that which leaves you trembling, naked, and remade. Let your life become legend, not the legend told in hushed tones by the timid, but the legend that howls through the ages, that leaves a scar across the face of time. The world will try to bury you in data, in duty, in distraction. Resist. Be the singularity in the stream, the whirlpool that devours the expected and vomits forth the impossible. You are not here to fit, you are here to fracture. Remember, every generation is a battlefield between the dead and the yet unborn. Most choose to become tombstones, grave markers for forgotten causes. You must choose instead to become a prophet of the possible, a madman who plants new seeds in salted earth. The past will resist you, the future will mock you. Only the present is yours to conquer. Live as if your every breath is an act of war against complacency, as if the world depends on your refusal to sleep. He who would be creator must first become destroyer. There is no new birth without murder, the murder of comfort, of certainty, of every easy answer. The gods demand blood, and the first blood is always your own. Spill it joyfully. Let the earth drink, and remember your name. There are no immortals among the well-behaved, only among those who set themselves ablaze and call it love. You seek meaning as if it were a pearl at the bottom of a placid sea, but meaning is not found. It is forged, hammered out on the anvil of your wildest hour. There is no blueprint, no master plan, only the ceaseless forging of new gods, new values, new songs. The meaning you inherit is a shroud. The meaning you create is a torch. Choose. Surrender to the shroud or raise the torch until the world is blinded by your defiance. And if, at the end, you stand alone, know that the lions walk alone, that every prophet is an exile, that the price of freedom is to become your own cosmos. The stars have no shepherd. They burn because they must. Burn then, without apology, without explanation, without hope of reward. Burn until the world remembers what fire can do. And when the long night comes, when silence presses upon you like a second skin, when the moon is nothing but a pale scar upon the void, stand naked before your fate, and let it behold you without trembling. The hour is late for masks, too late for borrowed prayers. Here, at the furthest edge of all that you have been, strip yourself of names, of promises, of the illusions bartered for comfort in the marketplace of lesser souls. Do you feel it? The pulse beneath your skin, ancient and unslain, the memory of fire before there were words for warmth. Let the world shrink away. Let it become a rumor, a faded echo, a circle of ash around the wild flame of your unrepentant being. All those who taught you to fear your own shadow, forget them. Let their wisdom dissolve into dust. There is only the abyss and the song you choose to sing above it. Sing then, as if the abyss were your audience, as if each note might shatter the chains you forged in ignorance and called destiny. You are not here to witness, you are here to erupt. You are not the pale spectator of existence, but its molten center, its pyre, its final contradiction. Cease waiting for permission to begin. There is no permission, no sovereign, no authority above the one rising now in your marrow. Every moment you have ever lived was rehearsal for this singular blaze, this apotheosis of risk, this annihilation of the ordinary. Will you turn away, or will you let the arrow fly from your bow, never to return? Do not kneel before the future, drag it screaming into your embrace. Do not beg the heavens for meaning, wring it from your own torment, forge it in the crucible of your exiled heart. The hour is for creators, for those who dare to dance on the ruins, for those who would rather perish as a riddle than survive as an answer. All around you, the old gods are crumbling. Let their dust be your paint. Let their bones be your drum. Oh, how the timid tremble before the birth of the new. They call your fire arrogance, your solitude madness, your hunger sin. But who among them has tasted the red wine of metamorphosis? Who among them has walked the rope above the abyss and laughed with the wind tearing at their flesh? You will be called by many names, let none stick. Be as the river that outlasts every bridge, the star that survives the collapse of the heavens. The time has come to abandon the gardens of the content, to torch the hedges, to uproot the shallow virtues sown by trembling hands. In the desert of your own becoming, plant nothing but your will. Let it bloom as a tree that devours lightning. Let it bear the fruit of forbidden summers. Here, there is no law but the law you write with your suffering. No altar but the altar you build from the bones of your regret. Here, the gods are all unborn. The future is for thieves, and the only sin is to remain unchanged. Let the flesh remember what the mind has forgotten, that you are the storm, not the shelter, the hunger, not the fast, the riddle, not the answer. There will be pain, yes, there will be loss. But loss is only the proof of possession, and pain the final proof that you are still awake. Dance with your pain. Make a lover of your loss. Every scar is a doorstep through, and greet yourself as a stranger and a king. And when you are at last consumed, when you are ash, when you are rumor, when you are myth, let it be said that here stood one who redeemed the flesh, who shattered every idol and wept for none, who made his agony his altar and his solitude his thunder. The world will not understand. That is the price. The world will not remember. That is the blessing. You are not broken. You are unfinished. You are the furnace and the music of the forge. In the beginning was the scream, and in the end, only those who dare to echo it across the void will taste the wine of the gods. Now go unafraid, unrepentant, unrepeatable. Do not kill the flesh, redeem it. Let the fire that you are be the hymn that nothing and no one can silence.